Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the universe, this is Roster Watch. My name is Alex Dunlap. I'm joined by Cody Carpentier and the Trash Man as we're here in the early month of June, but we still have football to talk about. OTAs continuing to go on. We have news from OTAs as it pertains to our fantasy football leagues in 2025. And Cody, you were saying before we got started on the OTA talk that you had something that you needed to discuss right off the bat with the Trash Man.
I do because I yesterday we talked about some stuff that surprising us, some ADPs that surprised us or caught us off guard when looking through. And Alex and I have done the first two shows this week, and so we haven't talked to Trashman about this. And I wanted to ask Trashman, when you hear that Christian McCaffrey's going off the board between like pick 9 and pick 17, and he's pretty consensus, like you get to like pick 11, 12. I think I sent it in our RosterWatch text chat, but he's going off at like 11, 12. What's kind of your thoughts when you hear McCaffrey at 11, 12 in his age 29 season?
I mean, it's a coin flip. It could go either way. I mean, if he stays healthy for how many games does Christian McCaffrey have to play for him to be worth that pick for you? Is it
12?
Is it 12? 12. I mean, that seems like a lot of games for Christian McCaffrey these days. So it seems like there are safer picks for sure. There are guys that you're going to be less worried about, playing on a week-to-week basis. I think for me, it's about making calculated risk. I'm going to make risk as a trash man, but it's not going to be at my number one running back position.
So you're up at pick 12. You got the 1-2 turn, pick 12 and 13 in a snake draft. Are you taking McCaffrey there? Or are you going to go like more like BT, Nico, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Do you feel good about taking him?
Right there. I mean, well, now in that video you showed, Genty was around there. I mean, if Genty's there, I'm taking him over McCaffrey. I feel like this is the season for zero running back though. If you're feeling frisky, and I feel like for me that counts Christian McCaffrey out that early.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, gosh, man. Well, look, we obviously have plenty of time to talk about it, but I mean, you guys are acting like we're gonna need a full fade Christian McCaffrey, and I don't think that's gonna be happening.
I didn't full fade him. I'm just saying.
I mean,
the strategy that I'm probably going to be taking in most leagues this season, it doesn't make sense.
I'll take him at the 302 every time. Give me at the 302. I'll take him.
You guys got to be crazy. All right. Well, look. Speaking of McCaffrey and the running backs at the very top, we have the news from Bijan Robinson. The report from the I think the Atlanta Journal-Constitution says that Bijan Robinson is eyeing a Saquon type season on the ground. He said, "We've added so many things to this offense so we can create more explosives." So next gen stats, they define explosive, of course, as people define it sort of differently. Cody, you and I, for the college metrics and stuff, we have the super explosives and things that we look at. But as far as next gen stats, explosive run is of 10 plus yards. And Robinson last year, so he had 34 explosives last season, and that was tied for fourth most among running backs. However,
I had an explosive last week, but that was due to a stomach ailment.
His longest Trash Man. Did I ask you why did I see was this on Instagram? Like,
yes, he was at a
Memorial Day photo.
Yes,
like a photo.
Of what?
I don't know. It was Cody. Can you share that on the screen? Some modeling photo of Trash Man. I'm sure we can find it. It's you in a green shirt doing one of your model shoes.
Oh,
and it's a Memorial Day 25% off deal.
No, I did that shoot like in January or February.
You're always like, I can't do the show now. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Do you off doing some more of this modeling? My gosh,
I am hustling.
People need to know why Trash Man is, why is Trash Man not here? Well, this is where Trash Man's at. This is exactly.
That's not where I
this is exactly where this is going to show up right in the middle of the screen for a reason.
I have another full.
Look at this. Look at Trash Man.
I have another full.
Oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. All right, Trash Man. So last year, Bijan Robinson had 34 explosives, but his longest run was only 37 yards. And so what he's saying is that he's been running full 100-yard sprints. He's preparing for the moment whenever he gets into the open that he wants to be able to take it a lot farther for those 60, 70, 80-yard runs this season. I've been struggling with maybe can you take Bijan over Saquon Barkley just because of the touches from last season?
Yes.
Bijan feels like he's.
I know you want to.
I mean, dude, we're talking about a guy that had like 1,500 yards and 14 touchdowns he's a Pro Bowler last year, and he's just getting better and better every season. Bijan's only coming into his third year. Whereas
Bijan also had 365 touches. But again, like you said, year 2, year 3.
It's one a day.
Well, so what do y'all make of it? And specifically Bijan Saquon stuff.
I mean, every running back worth his salt is going to be saying they want a Saquon Barkley-like season, you know? It'd be remiss not to. I mean, I like Bijan just like the same place I liked him last year. I mean, like we weren't necessarily drafting Saquon above. We didn't have Saquon above Bijan last year. So to me, not really much is changing.
Even with us being much higher on Saquon Barkley than the rest of the field, we had Bijan over him for sure. I think that was virtually just the consensus lock. Cody, do you have any thoughts on this? Do you want to move to the next one here?
Yeah, I think it is what it is. I don't really have much thoughts. I think Bijan's going to be in this conversation. Should be top 5 conversation. And as far as the comparison to Saquon Barkley, I mean, it's for people on podcasts, they can't see me. I'm rubbing my fingers together because Mr. Saquon Barkley just got paid, and I think all these guys want to get paid.
Yeah, for the people on the podcast who might have missed the photo of one of Trash Man's many modeling escapades, you can find it over on YouTube. And just while we're mentioning YouTube, Cody reminded me, I don't ever ask for you guys to like the show and subscribe to the channel, but like I need to, like people, the I guess management, if you will, has told us that we need to start doing that. But you guys have been doing a really good job subscribing. We're actually, Cody, what'd you say? We're like 9.99K subscribers now.
Yep, just right there. 10K is right there.
Yeah, help us so I don't have to model on the side anymore. So I don't have to sell my body.
Yeah, but liking the show, subscribing to the channel on YouTube really does help us a lot. And if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or iHeart, whatever it is, if you can just do whatever you can to leave a rating and a review, that would be helpful. And if you're on YouTube, leave comments. We usually circle back around and answer them. So if you have fantasy questions, just let us know, and we will make sure and get
fantasies.
Don't be you can direct your fantasy talk to that kind of fantasy talk directly to Trash Man. Cameron Wolf, who covers the Dolphins, reporting from practice yesterday that Jaylen Waddle is working on his hand-eye coordination and wearing special glasses at practice to help him with his drops that he had last year. But he did say that people in the building believe that he's on pace. Like they just think people are high on Jaylen Waddle right now in Miami, and they think he's going to have his best season ever. Your thoughts?
Yeah, because Tyreek's
what?
I'm stoked about that. I mean, I've been hoping the best, wishing the best for Jaylen Waddle since he came out of Alabama, where he was, he was overshadowed by arguably, a top 12 receiver in the NFL currently. And Smith,
you think Devontae Smith's a top 12 receiver?
I mean, on any other team, he's a top 10 receiver.
I mean, Devontae Smith's super good. I mean, it's like I don't have a severe pushback on that. I'm not sure he's top 12 though.
If he did not have AJ Brown to contend with, I think so. And Jaylen Waddle, like having Tyreek Hill, I think that him working on those, tangibles can only help him. And I think he's got the sky's the limit for this kid. I think he's so talented. I thought he was more talented potentially than Smith. We only got to see it in spurts at Alabama, and anything that's going to help him get his game going, I'm excited about, because I do think that he has elite NFL talent.
Cody, I don't wear contacts or glasses or anything. Do you wear contacts?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I got perfect vision.
Okay. So do I. I have.
We all have perfect vision. It's great. It's great. But the thing is, so I don't know like how glasses would really affect this stuff. I don't have any firsthand knowledge. Cody, any thoughts about these special glasses?
Well, all I'll say is,
is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I couldn't hear what Trash Man said.
All I'll say is that Lenore Sellers, the quarterback for South Carolina right now, had like specs last year. I don't know how blind Jaylen Waddle might be, but I know it's a big deal for Sellers, because if they said if he didn't have his specs on, he couldn't see anything. Which
Sellers wears those sport goggles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think everybody's different. I know like my wife is like minus 2.5 for something. I don't know what that means, but I know her uncle's like minus 20 or something. Like he's got horrible vision. So I don't know left from right, up from down when it comes to all that stuff, but it has to help him. I mean, the guy had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons to open his career up in Miami. And this last year, of course, the quarterback play was, Huntley and Skylar Thompson for the back end. And I don't know.
We need some Horace Grant type action in the NFL.
Well, Anthony Richardson is wearing those Horace Grant glasses this year. He looks sweet in them.
They're bringing it back. I like it.
What is if Tyreek, so if Ramsey and Tyreek Hill are traded, and I know I'm gonna say this, it is what it is. Alex hates me for always saying like, oh, the potential trades happening and stuff. Devontae Adams. But if and when Tyreek Hill is dealt, what does that do to Waddle's outlook for us? You talk about like he's top 12 receiver in football. We got him right now 22nd overall in Dynasty at wide receiver, which is a top 80 player consensus between us on the RosterWatch top 250. He's 27 years old. Like, what does, not only for Dynasty but for this year, like what does it do if a Tyreek Hill is traded in the first preseason or in the first 6 weeks of the season? What's that do for Waddle's? Like, is he going to be a week in and week out like, hey, we can probably look at 20 fantasy points a game?
Well, his current ADP and season long, like his current like we say current ADP, and what we're doing is every day we're updating from the Draft Wizard on Fantasy Pros, the ECR on Fantasy Pros, the ESPN PPR rankings, and then the Underdog ADPs, or the ESPN PPR ADPs. And Jaylen Waddle, if you average all those together, is his ADP 65, so 6th round. That is a steal. That's a bargain. That's one that I haven't thought that much about, but that's good. I think that right there, I mean, he should be a target. If Tyreek Hill were to get moved, I mean, he gets steamed big time. It would be
4th round.
Yeah, I mean, I think you would start talking about him in the same way you talk about Terry McLaurin.
Late 3rd, early 4th.
Yeah. Do you agree?
I think I like that. If we know Tyreek's gone, yeah. I think I like that.
Trash man?
Yeah.
Is that about the, or do you think it's more like kind of where, gosh, I mean, almost like early 3rd? I don't know, man. Waddle without Tyreek could be a 10 target per game smash.
I mean, the upside is there.
Especially if the report came out yesterday, Adam Schefter reporting that the Steelers have re-engaged
Jonnu
trade talks for Jonnu Smith.
I mean, the thing is, like, if you do go 0 RB and you're taking wide receivers for the first 3 rounds, you can get Waddle as your 3rd, maybe 4th receiver, with him being the number 1 receiver in Miami. That's nuts.
Yeah, I don't think Tyreek's getting traded though. But even if he's not, I like Waddle. That like Cameron Wolf is saying, people around the building are saying, heads up, man, his best season ever is on tap. I love getting that guy.
Here for it.
Yeah, dude.
And his best season ever, just so we're clear, he had a 1,356-yard season on 117 targets and 8 touchdowns in 2022. So best
Not
season
bad.
ever would be 1,400 and potentially 10 tugs. Which is like literally, I mean, if I told you today he had 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns, you'd be like, all right, well, we'll take him at the 203.
a little bit more here about the Dolphins and the Steelers, for that matter. Let's just stick with the Dolphins here for a minute. Mike McDaniel at practice, after practice, I believe yesterday, he was asked about Jaylen Wright, and he said, when we had exit meetings, I was talking to Jaylen about being able to non-verbally communicate to me his hunger for an increased role. So being able to non-verbally communicate to me his hunger for an increased role, which, Cody, what does that say to you? He wanted to non-verbally communicate his hunger for an increased role.
I feel like that would say that
he give him the finger.
He's showing me it.
I need to see something, right? Yeah. I need to see from you through your actions that you're hungry for a role. And he says, I see better than I hear. And 4 OTAs in, I can see him following through with that. Does this matter? A little bit of Jaylen Wright hype from Mike McDaniel.
Yes. Just because there is no Raheem Mostert. There is, I mean, it's up in the air about who's going to be goal line back for Miami, who's going to be, kind of a complement to Devon Achane. Wright's right there. I mean, so this does matter because there can be 2 viable running backs in Miami.
Yeah,
Wright could be one of them.
And Alexander Madison is not going to be one of them.
Probably
right?
Not. Right. But would it shock you if he was that for a couple of weeks? And the thing would be the tell. If the tell is if Madison is that guy for a couple of weeks, that means Wright's not ready.
It would shock me. I would be like, oh my God, Jaylen Wright stinks. I'd be a little bit shocked to find out that Jaylen Wright is just no good. Because if Alexander Madison beats him out, he is no good.
Alexander Madison's still 26.
Alexander Madison is toast.
He looked like he was toast last year, but we also thought that Mixon was potentially going to be toast.
He is donezo. Bad. But so we talked about earlier the Steelers, who, by the way, released their training camp schedule today. They'll be starting up in Latrobe, Pennsylvania on the 20th.
They did already?
What?
They already released it?
Yeah. They're starting on July 24th in Latrobe, and they're going to be having a joint practice there prior to their preseason game, their first preseason game with the Tampa Bay Bucks. So the Bucks Steelers joint practices there for training camp tour planning purposes.
Buffalo again.
But from Penn Live. So this was the reporting from Penn Live on the Caleb Johnson from the Steelers. If Johnson's going to get on the field early, pass protection will be a big part of his growth to do that. For now, he'll at least play a lot on early downs, but the Steelers must see him leap as a pass protector before they can trust him as a 3-down workhorse. And what Caleb Johnson said about it when asked after practice yesterday, he said, I feel like it's very new because at Iowa, I was really not focused on the technique, but it really wasn't bringing the hips. It was really the strike, the hit, make sure the quarterback's cool to make a throw. But now it's more here. It's more technique. It's more formative and stuff like that here. So I'm just going to get my stuff down. That's why I'm here to work, he said. Basically, the implication here from the reporting on Penn Live is that Caleb Johnson stinks in pass pro. He's really struggling.
Don't care.
If you read the whole article, it's very clear that they think he's really no good at this.
Don't care. They also all, including our guy Bo Marciani, all of them love Jaylen Warren. Don't care. Don't care. I'm totally prepared for this. Don't care. You know why? Because when they run the football in Pittsburgh, what do? They're under center and they hand the ball off and they play action boot. And this is not a team that's going to throw the ball 650 times. And Caleb Johnson's going to be expected to be back there on 3rd down and pass protect. We know Caleb's going to get 1st down, 2nd down, running the football. Occasionally 3rd down, he'll get the goal line opportunities. And yes, on 3rd down, you're going to get Kenny and you're going to get Jaylen Warren in there pass protecting. Have it. Don't care. I'm not going to look at that and go, well, let's see. I got Caleb Johnson here going off at 78th overall, and I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass because he can't pass protect. No, I'm going to take him every single time because most times, maybe not every single time, but most times, because I know he's going to get 250 touches. And I know he can probably score 8 to 12 touchdowns. Don't care.
Trash man. DeAndre Swift doesn't care if the Bears bring in another running back. But he says it just doesn't matter to him. By the way, did you guys see that Jake Hayner dismissed the notion that the Saints needed to add a veteran quarterback? I saw that. I saw that tweet. I'm like, oh well,
they already have one.
Well, then I guess it's settled. Hayner says they don't need one.
He's like, yo, listen, we're gonna keep 3 quarterbacks. Those 2 guys are younger than me, so if we had an old guy, I'm gone.
He said that they asked him about it, bringing in a veteran, and he's like, "Oh no, that is dismissed."
What an ass! Whoever asked the question, what an ass!
But DeAndre Swift, he said they were asking him. So basically, there's apparently what this was categorized as by this dude Scott Barry. He's saying there's definitely chatter around the Bears that they're supposedly needing to bring a physical between the tackles runner. And DeAndre Swift says he's not paying attention to the chatter, but he says he says it doesn't matter. He's going to get done what he needs to get done anyway. And from the article, it says DeAndre Swift remains the feature back with Roschon Johnson as a secondary option.
Who are they bringing in?
I don't know. It seems like the whole Nick Chubb thing is flown the coop.
Yeah, I think with whoever they could bring in, unless they just vulture somebody that's already entrenched somewhere, I don't think it would be a market improvement on Swift.
He was really available out there.
Gus, Jamal Williams, Chubb, Dobbins,
all these guys.
Johnson, Cam Akers, and Deonta Foreman.
Dobbins is the only one of those guys who I have any interest in.
That is a dented can aisle. You just island of misfit toys. None of those guys are going to come in. Like even as cooked as DeAndre Swift is, every one of those guys is more cooked.
Yeah, but you just said what you said. You said looking for a grinder between the tackles, grinder.
Yeah, between the tackles.
So who on that list is going to come in and I mean Dobbins? The problem with Dobbins is that he doesn't feel like he'd be a guy that would come in and just be between the tackles grinder. Like he's more of a, his play style is different. It's like Gus or Jamal Williams, which again is 30-year-old, ravioli. So
yeah, then if I'm DeAndre Swift, I'm not worried. I'm not terribly worried about that situation. I think Roschon Johnson, I would rather have him in that position than any of those guys.
Oh, I would too. It's kind of worrisome that beat reporters calling him the secondary option. And
what about Travis Homer? Homer's there, right?
Yeah, but he's the third back, and I mean, and they have a guy. So,
Homer's always operated as a third down back there.
Sean Payton told reporters yesterday that Audric Estime didn't have enough touches last year. Do you think he had enough touches, Cody?
No.
Well, what does this mean for RJ Harvey?
Well, it means what I thought it meant for him. It means he's not coming in to be the number one running back.
Yes, he is.
De facto. I mean, he's going to have to work for it. I mean, Audric Estime, he's not chopped liver. I get that they brought RJ Harvey in. I know what their intentions are for him, what they want him to be. But Audric Estime is still there, and Audric Estime still hasn't gotten – I don't think he's gotten a fair shake at that job.
I'll agree.
He's closer to chopped liver than he is to steakhouse quality steak.
Third-year junior, 210 touches, 1,300 yards and 18 touchdowns, average 6.5 per at Notre Dame. He didn't get enough opportunities last year. 64 carries wasn't enough. I mean, but here's the deal. That's on him. That's on Sean, just as much as last year's combine when we said, what's the deal with Marvin Mims? He goes, that was on me. I didn't give him enough opportunities. I didn't put him in the right place to win. This was on him as well. He didn't give Audric Estime enough opportunities, played too much Tyler Beatty, played too much McLaughlin. Like Audric Estime should have gotten 3 or 4 games of 20 touches to be like, does this guy suck? Or is this guy good? Because if this guy's good, then you don't have to draft somebody in the second round. You didn't even have to conversate it in the first round.
Couple of wide receivers here that we'll get to before we get out of here. I'll save that one for the second one. I don't even know what to make of that one. How about Todd Monken? He says we just got in much of the same way. He says we just got to get him the ball more. Whenever he was asked about Zay Flowers, do you have thoughts about this? Zay Flowers can, as somebody, we were super big on Zay Flowers in Dynasty, right? So in rookie drafts, I don't know how many Dynasty leagues I'm in, but it's too many for one. And I'm just I can, it's my job to know about all these players, but I can vouch for just the visceral pain that Zay Flowers can bring you sometimes with his lack of volume.
That is a road to toe for a Baltimore Ravens receiver in this offense. That's just the way it is. I mean, Zay Flowers is an amazing receiver on a number of other offenses. He would bring you that every week nut, but in Baltimore, that's just not how it works.
He can have those games wherever he has sometimes 12 target games.
Yeah. Sometimes he does.
Sometimes he gets like a target.
It's not every week. That's just how I was shocked that he got the targets that he did last season in Baltimore based on that offense. We were like, it's going to be a new look offense. They're going to throw the ball a ton, and that wasn't necessarily the case. I think they exaggerated a bit much there. But concerning what that offense is and where it has come from, I think that's kind of what we're looking at for Flowers for the foreseeable future.
All right, and Cody, I need to ask you because you of course are our psychological expert here.
What do you mean?
What? Oh yeah, you're kind of the psychological expert, Trash Man. I think you have a PhD in it.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's okay.
Right.
So let's ask Trash Man. Let's ask both of you guys. Ben Johnson's been having to have conversations with DJ Moore about his body language. Your thoughts?
I mean, I think he's just salty that he feels like he's the alpha on that team. He should be the alpha. I mean, at practices he is the alpha. He
was.
I mean, well, maybe was okay, but he's been uncomfortable. At practices. Chicago, I mean, I know the Chicago offense may be better than any other offense in the NFL, and DJ Moore is exceptional, in practices for Chicago. And he's obviously the best player on the field, at least up to this point. And so, I get that he feels like he should be the onus. He should be the apex predator, the number one target in that offense, and he's not being treated as such.
Cody,
so a little bit.
Cody,
again, I'll just add that again. He was last year and the year before. But here's the problem: Rome Odunze is really good. Luther Burden, it's a little bit psychotic and really good. Colston Loveland, last I checked, really good. Maybe, just maybe that bit of annoyance or that lack of positive body language might just be someone realizing that they're at the age apex at the wide receiver position, and there's some young blood that is just boiling in that receiver room, in that tight end room, and maybe the targets just aren't going to be going to him anymore because he's not the one that's open. He's, 2 years away from being fat Keenan Allen, fat DJ Moore. It's Luther, it's Rome, it's Colston Loveland. I'm sorry, DJ. It's over.
This is Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to RosterWatch.